Today we continue with our class Hilchot Talmud Torah, Rambam, and we start with, one second, start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic is the way of our ancestors. So it says, Mishnah states that four sources of merit figure prominently in redemption from Egypt. The Jews did not adopt Egyptian names, did not speak in a way of Egyptians, meaning did not change the language, in other words, right? Were not guilty of immorality, and did not speak Lashon Hara. Okay, so one more time, four things that we merited when, right? So there are four things, the sources of merit that figure prominently in redemption from Egypt. The Jews did not adopt Egyptian names, right? So a Jew is supposed to have a Jewish name. Sometimes it would be like they would have non-Jewish name, secular name, and then like in a synagogue, like for example, a man would be called to the Torah by Jewish name, or at least among the Jews, they would call him by the Jewish name, at least, right? Did not speak in the way of Egyptians, right? Did not change the language. Next one, were not guilty of immorality. That's a big one. And and did not speak in Lashon Hara. The source is Vaikra Rabbah 32:5. Okay. Tana Develi Yahu Rabbah, chapter 23 relates. When the Jews were in Egypt, they assembled and sat down together, for they were united as one. They established a covenant to do kindness with one another, to safeguard their hearts and covenant of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, to serve their Father in heaven alone, and not to forsake the language of their father Yaakov's house, and to not learn the language of Egyptians, and so as not to follow the ways of idol worshippers. It's very interesting. So in some of our communities, the people actually even don't know the English so much, right? They would call Yiddish. They speak Yiddish and English. I mean, they speak, especially men. Most of the men they speak very broken English. I mean, you understand what he's trying to say. They say Hebrew words, Yiddish words, and English. So you understand women a little better, but very interesting. So to keep as far as possible from the society. Of course, if they go into business, of course they need English, but not so much. Okay, the Egyptians would ask them, "Why do you not serve our gods? For if you did, your workload would be lighter." The Jews respond, "Did our forefathers forsake our Father in heaven, that we should now do the same?" So it's very interesting answer that we can learn a lot even today. So we're going according to our Mesorah. Mesorah is our tradition. We have a special tradition that goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu, and of course our fathers and forefathers, they were close to the original source, to the Moshe Rabbeinu. So if they did not do it, so why should we do it? That's a very interesting answer. When the Jews circumcised their son in Egypt, the Egyptians suggest, perhaps, if you do not observe these laws, your difficult labor will be lightened. Right? So they say if you, like today or even, I mean, it's been forever when the Jews start coming from Europe to America. So in America in 1900s, in late 1800s, so there were many factories, and all of the factories were open 6 days a week. right? Including Shabbos, of course. They were off on Sunday. And many people were forced to work on Shabbos, or you're going to lose your job. You're going to not going to have a place to live and feed your kids. So it was a tough choice, right? They say if you go do like us, maybe your work will be light, and maybe you're going to have an easier life. It's very interesting. Unfortunately, many people gave up. Continue. The Jews responded, "Did our forefathers forget the covenant into which they entered with our Father in heaven, that we should do the same?" When the Jews would marry and celebrate the 7 days of feasting that follows, the Egyptian asked, "Why do you celebrate? Soon you will be forced to perform your slave labor." The Jews responded, we shall celebrate. You can do with us as you please. Those who are destined to die shall die. Those who are destined to live shall live. So it's very interesting answer. Okay, after the 7 days, we have to go back to work and do whatever we need to do. But as right now, there is a holiday, there is a celebration, there is Shabbos. Okay, after Shabbos comes Sunday and Monday, you have to work and provide for your family, but it's a different story. Okay, 413. So this continuation. 1 second. Page 413. 413. 379. Okay, continuation for this. So it says, some people spend their young years accomplishing little spirituality, content to enjoy what they perceive as good life in this world. Okay, they know that life here is not forever. There is in the next world that soul will live on eternally. So, but somehow, and it's the problem is all young people. They think that all old people were always old, right? And parents were always like outdated, and they don't know life, and we know, right? Because we watch TV, or I don't know what we do, right? But and they think that we're going to live forever. It's very interesting. Things do not change. However, they convince themselves that we're with time in their old age to concern themselves with a matter of spirit. So today they have a lot of energy. They want to do all of the things that they consider to be fun. And when I'm going to get old, like you, Rabbi, so I'm going to read these old books, right? Old books do not change, right? So I say, yeah, they do not change. Okay, so I'm going to read old books. And so 10, 20 or more years swiftly pass as the cycle of work and relaxation repeats itself again and again. So as Rabbi Reuven Shlita said, it's like a blender, right? You go to work in order to eat, to pay the food, and then you buy the food, you sleep, you go to the bathroom and go to work and it's forever. I mean, not forever, all the days of a person's life. With little earned for the long road that all meant eventually to travel. So the long road, as we said, is Alam Haba, right? The world to come. How long is the road? Forever and ever. Right? So, but you have to, as we said before, have to prepare a lot of provisions. How do you prepare provisions? With the mitzvahs, and be attached to HaShem in this world. Those with such an attitude are like the man in our parable who failed to recognize the real purpose of journey. Let us make the most of our years, days and hours. The potential for accomplishment is without limit. So, of course, but we have to be dedicated. Okay, stop here. Okay, so we continue with our Hilchot Talmud Torah. And okay, so we're close to the end of chapter 5. Okay, so it says, so we're in chapter 5, and Halachah number 12. And it says, just as students are obligated to honor their teacher, a teacher is obligated to honor his students and encourage them. Our sages declared, the honor of your students should be as dear to you as your own. The teacher should take care of his students and love them because they are like sons who bring him pleasure in this world and the world to come. So it's now from obligation of the students we switch to obligation of the teacher. So let's do from the beginning with commentaries. And it says, just as a student is obligated to honor his teacher, a teacher is obligated to honor his students and encourage them. Number 103. Though we should treat all men with respect and affection, a teacher should take a special effort to display this quality to his students. Meaning, if you're going to yell at the people that we're trying to teach, then most likely they're not going to learn much, right? If anything, they're going to develop resentment to the study, right? But when you encourage person, and that does not encourage to tell them compliments, to give them like spiritual boost, so that they should continue learning. Because sometimes what people need, just one acknowledgement, one encouragement, and they ready to fly. And it's all depends on this teacher. Okay. Or on a spouse or somebody else, on a friend. Okay, continue. Our sages declare, the honor of your students should be as dear to you as your own. No more, no less, right? So that's how we have to treat our students. 105. Avod the Rabbi Nassan, chapter 27, quotes as an example of this behavior Moshe's instruction to Yehoshua. Very interesting. Exodus 17:9, choose men for us. Moshe equated Yehoshua with himself, right? He was sending Yehoshua to do task, and he said, choose men for us. So meaning for us, for you and I. So of course we're on the same level. Of course it's a big compliment to Yehoshua. Continue. A teacher should take care of his students and love them because they are like sons. Commentary. Okay. Continue. So as we said, your father or mother brought you into this world, but your teacher, your rabbi, is going to bring you to the world to come, right? So and teacher benefits from his students as a parent benefits from his or her children. Okay. Like sons, continue, who brings them pleasure in this world and in the world to come. So pleasure in this world, 107. First, as described in the next Halachah, students deepen the teacher comprehension of the subject matter. Also, their success and progress generates their feelings of satisfaction. So let's understand what it says here. So I'm going to read again. First, it described that in the next Halachah, students deepen the teacher comprehension of the subject matter. So the obvious question, what he did not comprehend before he started teaching us, that's it. Like, how could he teach? It's a very good question. So the answer to this question, no, he comprehended, but on his own level. Right, but now he has to present on a level that other people also are going to comprehend. And when students ask questions, it sharpens his intellect, right? So HaShem, of course, it's a blessing from HaShem. HaShem sends, open up a teacher's brain and send him additional information, because he said, okay, these people, I won't teach these people Torah. Okay, they chose you as a vessel to learn Torah. Okay, no problem. I'm going to send Torah whatever they need through you. So it's like your vessel, and of course the vessel benefits on the way. It's very interesting. Continue. Also, their success and progress generate a great feeling of satisfaction. So, of course, all normal teachers, like not too arrogant, so they very proud of their students, of their achievements, right? And it creates satisfaction. So I spend all of this time preparing for each class, and I don't know the results, but now I see with my own eyes the results. So everything what I did, all of the energy that I did, all of the sleepless nights that I did, right, that I invest, actually went to the good cause. That's a satisfaction. So in this world and the world to come, commentary, the student's action and study increased the merit of his teacher, who led him to this righteous path. So meaning what? That everything that the student does going forward is going to count on account of the teacher also, because he taught him these halachas, these moral principles, other things. Continue. Halacha number 13. Students increase their teacher's wisdom and broaden his horizon. Okay, we have actually to explain it, right? Why? Because the Torah to this specific person comes to him through the teacher, and teacher benefits for sure. And sometimes people ask questions. Many times, I don't know, not many, but yeah, we can say many times people ask me question. I never ever thought of this question. It was never on my mind, never. I mean, even if I know the answer, it does not mean that I had the same question, right? Or I thought about this from this point of view. Very interesting. Our sage is declared. Our sage is declared. I learned much wisdom from my teachers, and even more from my colleagues. However, from my students, I learned the most of all. Right, so it's very famous Mishnah. It's Ta'anis 7a, Makas 10a, quotes two different sages who made the following statement. Okay, but there is no contradiction. Right, so let's try to understand what it says here. I learned much wisdom from my teacher. Of course, I have exactly zero wisdom, so I learned from my teacher, and even more from my colleagues. So colleague is, as we said, somebody on your level, a little higher, a little lower, but you learn together, and sometimes he contribute whatever you do not know. Sometimes you contribute. You have conversation, you have discussions, and that's how you sharpen each other for sure. That's very beneficial. However, from my students, I learn most of all. Right? Why? Because you're preparing for the classes, and you go a little deeper just in case. Just in case that they're going to ask you a deeper question. It's very interesting. I once watched the interview with this rabbi who wrote the book that we learned on Monday on women's halachos, right? So he's been Rabbi. He's been working as a Rabbi in a Beis Yaakov, in a girls' yeshiva for 9 years. I don't remember, like many years. 9 years, it's a lot. And he says, so every time I go to that room, I do not know what they're going to ask, right? So he said, I'm prepared very deep class, but I am given on like average level, but I'm prepared that they're going to ask me anything. It's very interesting. So many times, and I also try to follow the same approach. So many times you do not need all of the details unless somebody asks. So I would tell, but otherwise we just go in by basics. Okay, don't overcomplicate things. Basically, it's very interesting. Continue. Just as a small branch is used to light a large branch, so too a small student sharpens his teacher. The teacher thinking progress, until through his questions he brings forth brilliant wisdom. Okay, so number 110 commentary. So he makes statements within the context of the explanation in Dvarim 20:19 as men of the tree of the fields. Okay, so the small branch, from this small branch, they light the big one, the large one. So to the small students sharpen the teacher thinking process until through his question he brings forth brilliant wisdom. 119. In order to answer the student question, the teacher must probe to the essence of the subject. So, right, for himself, he might have been willing to be content with a more superficial understanding, right? So for teacher, he knows that this is Halachah. I'd say, okay, that's fine. I know what to do. I know what not to do, and what to do in some exceptional situations. But this student, he's not satisfied. He wants to know more, right? So that's what makes the teacher to probe and learn in deep insight of every subject. However, when the students question him, he must penetrate to the deepest comprehension to the matter of the matter to provide him with an answer. But as we said before, all these answers comes from HaShem, because how can you answer all of these questions on the fly when you're preparing totally different subject? Okay, so we finished with that. Any questions on what we said? Okay, if no questions, so we're going to start the next chapter. Is it 6 chapters or 7 chapters? No, 7 chapters. Okay, so 6th chapter. Okay, so very, very, very interesting topic, and Rabbi Reuven Shlita spoke about it, about this topic. So, okay, so I mean, in short, but now we're going into details. Very interesting. So, Halachah number 1. It is a mitzvah to respect every Torah scholar, even if he is not one's teacher. As Vayikra 19:32 states, stand up before the white-haired man and respect an elder. The word zakein, translated as elder, alludes to the Hebrew words meaning one who has acquired wisdom. So it's like first letters of these words. The one who acquires wisdom, zakein. One is one obligated to stand before him when he approaches him within 4 cubits of him until he passes him. So about our primary teacher, we said that we have to stand up and as soon as we see him. It could be half a mile away. Let's say if you see that far, so you have to stand up and wait until he passes you by, or you don't see him any longer. But here it's respected Torah scholar, so you have to stand up when he comes close. It's like 8 feet or so, less than 8 feet. Okay. So let's do from the beginning with commentaries. It is a mitzvah to respect every Torah scholar. Commentary. The Sefer HaMitzvah of Positive Commandment 209. Rambam counts this as one of the Torah's 613 mitzvahs. So also Sefer HaChinuch, mitzvah 257. In a Guide Over Perplex, volume 3, chapter 36, Rambam explains the motivating principle for this mitzvah. If respect is not shown to the scholars, their teaching will not be upheld, and the Torah will be neglected. So if you, it's, on one hand, why they have to stand up? I don't even know this guy. Okay, maybe he knows a lot of Torah. It's good for him. So how do I benefit that I have to stand up? So that's what could go through the person's mind, and Torah said absolutely not. Right? When you don't, if respect is not shown to the scholars, the teaching will not be upheld. So people would not listen to them. Right? So people come and ask questions, and they They say, okay, so, okay. What are you going to do? No, I just ask the Torah point of view, but I already decided what I want to do. Like that's people. There are many people like that. But when you stand up in front of the scholar, so you show other that you respect him. Whatever he said, I'm going to do. If I ask him a question, that means I have to follow, right? So continue. Okay, so from the beginning, it is a mitzvah to respect every Torah scholars, even if he is not one's teacher. Commentary. In which case, the most severe measure of honor are necessary, as mentioned in the previous chapter. Raman Yorek Dayat 244.1 state that this obligation applies only to another scholar who surpasses one's self-knowledge. So here is very interesting statement. So before that, we said that in the last halachah of previous chapter, we were talking about a colleague. So a colleague is somebody who's on your level approximately, right? A little more, a little less. I mean, okay, there is approximately, right? So if you have such a person, so you're not obligated to stand in front of him, right? Maybe he's a big scholar, but you're also a very respected person, right? You're also very knowledgeable. But if his knowledge surpasses yours, like, right, then you have to stand up. Okay, number 2. Continue. As Vaikra 19:32 states, I want to say before I forgot, we just mentioned Sefer Chachinuch. So I sent to the group this website, artscroll.com. So most of the people, not all of the books, but many books that we learn is actually from that site, and they have 20% off until January, I think. And during the Hanukkah, when Hanukkah starts, they have like 40% or totally, I don't know, a lot of percent off. I think 40% off on all of the sets. So if somebody wants to buy a set, so for example, here's my plan. I'm planning to purchase Beezrat HaShem the Sefer Chachinuch. So Sefer Chachinuch, he's going through all of the mitzvahs as Rambam. So Rambam is a little shorter book, right? So he just goes in all of the mitzvahs and short explanations and reasons, like very short. But Sefer Chachinuch, he goes the way I understand. He goes through the parsha of the week, and he actually extracts all of the mitzvahs from each parsha. That's why the count is not the same, like numbering of the mitzvahs, right? So it's now the rest of the books that do not come in sets, 20% off, which is an amazing sale. So buy whatever you need. Okay, no problem. Continue. So in Vaikra 1932 states, stand up before the white-haired man and respect the elder. The word zakein, so elder they translate as zakein, right? So the elder alludes to the Hebrew words meaning the ones who acquire wisdom. Not every elderly man that you have to stand up. Even some rabbis take it literally and say, yeah, if he lives up to 70 and 80 years old, so he's right, he's elderly, so he probably have the wisdom. Many times it's not true. If he did not learn Torah, if he lives like animal all his days, so what did it change? Just because he got his hair gray, now he's a great scholar? I have to respect him, right? So 2 different opinions. So continue commentary. Even if he's young, so even though we say zakein, we say elder, but elder we said one who acquires wisdom. So he could be young. There are very many young and brilliant people. I know a few of them, right? So one more time, one who is young, even one who is young, the definition of the Torah scholar is a matter of debate. Here we go. As Kiddushin 49b states, on the condition that I'm a student, okay, what does it mean? So it's like expression. We do not say that he must be compared to the Shimon ben Azai or Shimon ben Zoma. Okay, rather anyone who can be asked about any matter in the area where he is studying and can reply. So it's very interesting. So it says that this person can be asked, right? Wise man. So he can be asked on any matter of his study. It's not like all of the different subject. No, on the subject that he's learning right now. So you ask any question, he knows the answer. Continue. Next one, the different expression. On the condition that I'm a wise man, we do not say that he's like sages of Yavne. So okay, so we cannot compare him to this person who we call the wise in today's age, that he's like Shimon ben Azai and Shimon ben Zoma and sages of Yavne. We don't compare him to these people. Rather, anyone who can be asked about any Torah subject and can reply. So that's a big discount, or I mean, it's not a discount, but even though I would say, even though he does not remember all the details, but at least he points you out where to look, or he can look up himself and give you the answer. Right? That's a Torah scholar. Okay. The Rambam quotes the statement from Hilchot Ishut. Nevertheless, since he that does not specify such a definition here in Hilchot Talmud Torah, one may therefore assume that in this context he does not limit himself to that definition. So I mean in the Torah scholars. So Torah scholars in general. So if people consider, like knowledgeable people consider to him Torah scholars, so I don't need to probe him. I don't need to ask him all of these questions that I have for 10 years in my mind, right? Okay, don't have to. I mean, if you want, you can, but it's not going to be the test that you can rely on. Should I stand in his presence or not? Continue. The Sifte Cohen, Yorek Deyat 244-2, addresses himself to this issue and explains that here we are referring to a Torah scholar who possesses some prodigious amount of knowledge and is considered unique within his community. So that's a little different view, right? So he's unique in his community. So I mean, but otherwise, just because if you're going to stand up for everybody who knows Torah more than you, maybe you better keep standing if you don't learn every day yourself. So that's not the point. But as we said, somebody is distinguished, so everybody agree that this person is brilliant. He's very knowledgeable. Yeah, for that person you should stand. So for example, in the shul that I go, there is one brilliant boy. I'm not sure if he's a rabbi or not rabbi. I think he's 21 years old. He's very, very brilliant, very, very knowledgeable, very, very sharp. So I think in some sense you can call him Zaken. And he gives lectures also. Very interesting. Okay. When is one obligated to stand before him? When he approaches within the 4 cubits of him until he passes past him. So only 4 cubits, which is we say 8 feet. So he's close to you, you have to stand. And if he's in a room, in a hall, and he comes in and he's like far from you, like a few rows down, so of course you're not obligated to stand, even if he's very famous. Okay, I mean, okay, not very famous, but if not somebody out of ordinary, like Gadol Hador, like Gadol Hador meaning the head of the generation, like Rav Kanievsky Zatzal was, okay, or Rav Wozner. Yeah, when somebody like this statue comes in, yeah, you must stand. But for others, only when they come very close. Commentary. Kiddushin 33a states that once a scholar comes this close, standing before him can easily be appreciated as a sign of respect. So I mean, if he comes to the room and you stand up, maybe you want to stretch a little. It's not obvious, but when he comes close and you stand up, you smile to him, you greet him. So of course that's a sign of respect, and it's understandable that's what you did specifically for his honor, not because you want to stretch out a little. Continue. Note the contrast between this halacha and the measure of respect due to one's own teacher, as mentioned in chapter 5, halacha 7. Once the scholar passes, one may sit, in a contrast to the requirement regarding one's teacher mentioned in the previous chapter. So for this teacher, Rabbi Muwak's main teacher, so we said we do not sit until he's in our vision. So we can still see him, right? Feel the vision, right? So we don't sit down unless he tells us to sit. Okay. So it was number 4. Okay, so let me see. What time is it? I think we have time. Okay, yeah, we have time. So continue next, unless we have anybody have questions, we continue.
Yes, Rob.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Is there like a certain amount of I don't know, I guess teachers that you can have, or
That's amazing.
Should there be like a limit of people you learn, rabbis that you learn from and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing question. So, Rabbi Rubin spoke about it many times, Shlita, and from my personal experience, that there are some people who said, no, I like to listen to different rabbis. I'm open-minded. Well, what is the problem? So they do not teach Torah. Only you teach Torah, or somebody else, Rabbi Reuben teach Torah. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they also teach Torah. So, but when people listen to the several rabbis, we're talking about kosher rabbis. Not kosher. It's garbage. It's sewer. It's understandable. We're talking about kosher rabbis, right? So most of the rabbis have their own hashkafa. Not their own hashkafa, approach. I apologize. Hashkafa is not their own approach. So when one person learns from different rabbis, he gets mixed up in his head, and that's happened to all of the people that I know, like some of my students. So I have some students join one of my classes. I would say maybe last year we started this class, right? And they were learning for 9 years. One couple, right? 9 years. They do exactly 0, and they throw all these big names. I say, how is it possible? You learn and they say, and I ask them basic questions. They do not know anything. So because they like I don't know what they like. But I would say because of the conflict, one person teaches like that, one person teaches like this, so that they have a conflict, they have of the ideas, they have a salad in their head, and that's it, they never advanced. You understand? So it's proper to have, I would say, maximum 2 people that you listen to. So for example, Ashkafa, you listen from one person, and people usually they have their own this subject they're very strong with, or not even strong with, that they prefer to teach. You understand? For example, Rabbi Reuven Shlita, his main goal is to teach Ashkafa. Ashkafa is Jewish ideology, to bring people closer to HaShem, to teach them Teshuvah, to teach them the character traits and character development, how to reach to the very high level. You understand? So that's a separate skill, a separate set of skill, and it's you must know, right? But the second part is a halacha, without only when you know like Jewish ideology, but you don't perform like physical mitzvahs. So it's ideology is very good, and that's why my students, they know exactly zero about halacha, zero. They did not know. 9 years they learned from all this rabbi on the internet. Nobody ever taught them. I mean, of course, it's not interesting, right? How to wash hands before the bread. They knew about Shmiras, all of this Kabbalistic stuff, about angels, about Eliyahu Hanavi, everything about Mashiach, maybe even more than I know about Mashiach. All of these details, true, not true. You understand? And zero about the things that they must do. Very interesting. Zero about family purity and other things. So I would say one in this field, one in that field, and is it third field? I don't know. I would say probably no. And of course, this one or that one, or it could be third one, could be somebody that you must know personally, or he knows you personally, that you more or less close to, that you can ask questions on any topic, right? It could be, it's also possible that you ask two different rabbis two different questions. So one rabbi, for example, the one you learn halacha with, from you can ask halachic questions. So I don't have water like we have, right? I don't have water and I need to eat bread. What do I do, right? That's a good question. And another rabbi who teach you like Jewish ideology, so hashkafa, you would ask for example, well, what do I do? Am I allowed to accept this job, for example? I have this problem in Shalom Bais with my kids, with my wife. My wife insists on this and that. What do I do? You understand? So since there's separate fields, you can ask two people, but otherwise stick to one person. And one of the explanations why Hasidim are so strong and they so successful, because they say stick to one Rebbe, one. That's it, only one. And in many places they do not allow to open second shul in the same city. It was a big issue. I don't know, like 5 years or 7 years, I don't remember, like some years ago, in the city of New Square, right? So they have Hasidim and they have main shul, huge. I'm not sure how many people it can hold, but huge shul, and everybody live around the shul. You can walk. Okay, you're not that rich. You live further from the shul. Okay, but in half an hour, 25 minutes, you can arrive to the shul. It's not like it's a huge town. Half an hour, I don't know, 35 minutes tops, but you're going to get to the shul. And some people in that town decided to open the second shul, without Rabbi. I don't remember exactly the story. So it was a big fight. They did not allow to open the second shul. You understand? So once you started breaking up, you have ask your rabbi. It creates all of this machloikis, all of this strifes between the people. You understand? That's why they're so successful. They go to one rabbi and that's it, right? And end of the story. But people, all the liberals that listen to several, they unfortunately they cannot make their own decision, like what to do, because look, I'm going to ask this rabbi or that rabbi. Sometimes I get these text messages this WhatsApp, and I understand. I'm not exactly stupid. They do not address me by name, meaning what? Right? Or they would like in some generic form that I'm number 7 that they send these text messages. I do not reply to these people. You understand that they will try to see who is going to answer faster. So, all right. So that's the answer to your question. So stick to one, learn from books, of course, or to two, as we said, if it's totally different subject, and that's it. So if a wife needs to ask a rabbit some specific questions, she can ask, or she can ask through her husband, right? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Did we answer the question? Clear, or tell me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions on what we said? Did I finish yet? Okay, no questions, no problem. So let's try to do maybe one more halacha. So it's number 2. One should not stand before a scholar in a bathhouse or toilet, or it is stated, stand up and respect, implying stand up and convey respect. Craftsmen are not obligated to stand before the Torah scholars while they involve in their work, for it is stated, stand up and respect. It can be inferred that just as showing respect does not involve financial loss, standing need not involve financial loss. What is the source which teaches that a person should not divert his eyes from the scholar, so that he will not see him, lest he be required to stand before him? It is written, and you shall fear your God. Okay. And with respect to all matters dependent on one's conscience, the Torah states, and you shall fear your God. Okay, so let's try to understand what it all says. We're going to go with the commentary and with explanations. It's from the beginning. Halachah number 2. One should not stand before a Torah scholar in a bathhouse. Commentary. There is an inner room where people stand undressed. The general principle followed is, in a place where it is permitted to recite the words of the Torah, one must honor the scholar. Where one may not recite the word of the Torah, he should not honor the scholar. Case of Mishnah. That's a very good like tip, right? So if you allow to recite in that place the words of the Torah, so you obligated to respect Torah scholar, who is what? Who is a representative of this Torah. That's very simple, very straightforward, right? So as we said before many times, we don't respect him as individual, right? We respect him as an individual that is a vessel of the Torah knowledge. That's the definition of Torah scholar, right? Because he possesses the Torah, not because he has a beautiful eyes and charming smile. You understand? So if you're not allowed to say the words of the Torah, so you're not obligated to respect him. So this bathhouse, just to give us an idea what it means. So there are three areas in the bathhouse. So first area when people come in, right? They're all dressed, completely dressed. Second, like intermediate room when some people undress, some people dress, so that they're ready to go to the third room. So in this case, I think you would be allowed to say the Dvar Torah when people are dressed. So because there is no filth in that room, but in the inner room when everybody is naked, so you're not allowed to say the words of the Torah, and you're not allowed to and you're not obligated to stand before this Torah scholar, right? And of course the toilet, okay. Toilet. For it is stated, stand up and respect, implying standing up conveys respect. Okay, so commentary, and in these places there is no honor of standing for a person. Okay, so people are doing their business. Now we're going to stand up in the middle, right? That's not proper. This law is not mentioned with regard to one's own teacher. Since stated in chapter 5, Halachah 6, one may not enter the bathhouse together with one's teacher, Rav Kapach. It's very interesting, right? So, as we said, A person should not enter the bathhouse with his teacher, with his father, older brother, and brother-in-law, all other father-in-law, of course, right? Why? Because you're going to see that person naked, and you're going to disrespect. And in your mind, they're going to lose some respect. Okay, so don't go with your teacher to the bathhouse. Continue. So in olden days, just to remind ourselves, like there were only public bathhouses. Okay, unless somebody was like extremely rich, so a person was able to have a private bathhouse. Otherwise, all the people went to the public bathhouses. Continue. Craftsmen are not obligated to stand before the Torah scholar while they involve in their work. Commentary. The commentary disagree whether a craftsman may interrupt his work to show a scholar token of respect or not. Very interesting. The case of Mishnah states that the craftsman is permitted to do so, and the rules accordingly in Shulchan Aruch. Case of Mishnah. Okay. So meaning he's permitted, he's not obligated, but permitted if he wants to. In contrast, Rabbeinu Nissim, Hulin 54b, maintains that a craftsman is not permitted to stand because the general impression that will be created, there is that some craftsmen standing in honor of the scholar and some not, will not be favorable. That's very interesting point. So case of Mishnah said, yeah, if they want, they can stand. So now some would stand, and some would keep sitting. Why? Because I'm not obligated. I don't want to stand. But in the eyes of the people who do not learn Halachah, so this second type of the craftsman who prefer to sit and continue working, let's say he's a shoemaker or whatever he's doing, right? So in eyes of the people, it would be like he's such a rude person. He's such a bur. Like how come he's sitting? Everybody is standing for the scholar, but he's sitting. You understand? So that's why Rabbeinu Nissim said no. Don't put other people in a bad light. Right? If you stand, other people would be in a bad light. This difference of the opinion exists only with regard to the craftsman working independently. All authorities agree that a craftsman hired by others may not stand. So because why? Because when he is standing, he's stealing from the employer. The employer paid him for sitting there working. His time is not his own, and by standing, he steals the time from the employer. So now he stands up, he says, "Hello, how are you? Shalom Aleichem," and stuff like that. So that's a stealing from the employer. So let's do this sentence from the beginning because there is more to it. Craftsmen are not obligated to stand before the Torah scholars while they involve in their work. Okay. So, and one more time, we were talking about self-employed, right? So, right, not obligated, but the ones who working from somebody, it's forbidden. For its stated, stand up and respect. It can be inferred that just as a showing respect does not involve financial loss, standing did not involve financial loss. So now he's going to stop his work, and now he's going to lose money. So let's see commentary. The Lechem Mishnah object to these statements, noted that Rambam's phraseology is not exact quote from Kiddushin 33a, which is his source. Nevertheless, it can be explained that Rambam is not quoting the Talmudic passage, but rather explaining a concept that can be inferred from it, right? So not word to word, but explaining the concept, right? So you're not obligated to bring up financial loss. Even financial loss, it's not such a big financial loss, but still. So people were very nervous, and it was they're not going to make enough money. And in olden days, it was very, very hard to make a living, and there were many poor Jewish people, a lot of Jewish people, very poor, and whoever was not poor and were able to support family, but it's hardly, understand? So that's why every minute was so precious. So let them work. Don't push them. Continue. What is the source which teaches that a person should not divert his eyes from the scholar so that he will not see him, lest he be required to stand before him? So it's very interesting. So sometimes people, your neighbor, if you have some of your coworkers that don't want to say hello, and they try to like hide their face or something. Like I remember in my office, so we have had this the pathway to go from all of the aisles and a pathway and go to the restroom, to the kitchen. So the pathway was, I don't know, maybe 5 feet. Right, so I mean, two people can pass by. There is no problem, 5 feet, right? But some people they may make sure they, I don't know, they look at the wall and they like, I don't know, they do everything possible not to say good morning. It's unbelievable. Even though you say good morning, you smile, they would make sure that they do not see you. That's of course it's forbidden for us to do with the Torah scholars. So it says Kiddushin 33a. States that we would not suspect that a person would fail to honor a scholar when the latter is actually close to him. Rather, this implies that it is forbidden for one to turn away when he sees the scholar approaching from afar, so that when the latter approaches, he will not be obligated to stand. So, okay, of course, when he's close, you stand, but he's far away, so make sure that you know, okay, in 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, I would need to stand, right? Who are you lying to, right? As it is written, and you shall fear your God. With regard to all the matters dependent on one's conscience, right? So HaShem said, and make sure don't offend the widows and orphans and Gerim, right? I'm HaShem. So Rashi Hakadosh asked him, what do you mean? Of course you know that you're HaShem. Why are you saying? He said, yeah, but maybe in your conscience say, yeah, I'm going to cheat this ger. He does not know much. This widow, she's like a broken lady, broken spirit lady. I'm going to sell her at any price. She does not know. You understand? So it said, no. Hashem said, I'm Hashem. You know what? Everything depends on your conscience. I'm there. I know exactly what you meant, whether you gave them the price or gave them advice. The Torah states, and you shall fear your God, who probes men's hearts and understand the inner feelings. So Hashem said, I know exactly what were your motivations. Okay, 1 second. I guess we can stop here. Any questions on any topic? This topic? Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
You mentioned the website earlier about the books.
Yeah, I sent it. I sent it to the group.
Okay. Now we haven't completely converted over yet. But is there any books that we're not allowed to get as far as like ordering books and stuff like that? Or can we get any ones that we choose or? So
it's a very good question. So all the basic books, whatever we teach in this class, it's absolutely allowed. I would say some esoteric books that not and at this point do not bring much value, but only take time. Like I remember Rabbi Rubenschletter sent me this guy, and he said that this guy needs to learn Halachah. You understand? I said, okay, understand. We're going to teach him Halachah. But this guy, he was into Kabbalah. I'm not sure what Kabbalah he learned. I'm not sure how it was absolutely waste of time. He knew exactly zero about zero, and he insisted on staying this way. You understand? But all of the practical books, or whatever we learn, it's only practical things that you have to use on a day-to-day basis. You understand? So all of these books absolutely, I would say Kabbalistic books and like you would not need, because it's not because it's not Torah, it is Torah, but it's on the next level. So if you have limited time, right? If you have 10 hours to learn a day, and you want to dedicate at least 1.5 hours to the high spiritual things, absolutely do that. But if not, if you have a limited time, you have 2-3 hours, so there is no way. So but if you're planning to buy sets, as I said, sets on each day of Hanukkah, it's always for the past 10 years, or even more, maybe 15 years. On each day of Hanukkah, they give a sale for different sets, 40%. It's a lot of money, right? And last day of Hanukkah, all of the sets on sale for for a few days. So buy whatever you need. I'm planning to buy because people ask me Sefer HaChinuch. Okay, I mean, I never learned inside Sefer HaChinuch, only one reference, so it should be very interesting. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, okay. You know what? There are a few books that I would recommend if somebody is interested on this website. So for Shabbos, family reading. So it's for sure you must buy this Rabbi Zilberstein, I think. Itzhak Zilber. Itzhak Zilber. So he's a great rabbi, Shlita, of course, lives in Israel. So people, he's Av Beis Din. So people come to him with unbelievable questions, like questions that you would never hear anywhere, right? And he would give them an answer, and he would provide explanation. So it is a story, right? Then the question, and how he provides solutions. And one set of the books is actually he goes by the parsha of the week. So it's he compiled somebody else. I think somebody else compiled it for him. So all of these stories, all of the questions that were asked, so they according to the parsha. So I mean how they connected to the parsha. It's very interesting. So meaning that if you want to read around the table on Shabbos, that's unbelievable. So and you have guests. With this book, you can get everybody's participation. So you don't have to be scholar, you have to be too knowledgeable, but it's live questions. I think that's one of the must-have books. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, no problem. So we stop here. So tomorrow we continue with our class Halachos or Brachos. Thank you and good night.